here's a special event making news around the parish. Levee protection is a top priority for the parish administration, and now a major step forward has been granted by the Army Corps of Engineers with a permit for the Willow Ridge phase of the West Bank Levee project. With the permit in place, now the efforts continue to focus on funding to complete the $150 million West Bank project. Parish President V.J. St. Pierre and the Council hosted aerial tours of the proposed project for our U.S. Senators and Representatives. The tour highlighted the pressing need for storm surge and tidal protection for St. Charles Parish's West Bank. For Senator Landrieu, the bird's eye view clearly showed the vulnerability of the 29,000 people and this industrial corridor.
There are some really substantial gaps in the levee protection for St. Charles Parish. We just received support from the Corps of Engineers for a permit to close one of the gaps. But now the fight is to go back to Washington and get the money from the federal government, and that's why slashing and cutting budgets without thought, without care, can be harmful to projects underway right here in South Louisiana that are critical.
When you saw the big gap, and you saw those houses,
it really is. It's alarming. I mean, the subdivisions, and they're not just small. They're large. You know, it's 30,000 people in the West Bank of St. Charles Parish that are at risk. But it's not just the homes. It's extraordinarily important. Petrochemical, refinery, river, marine, maritime, river structures that are at risk, nuclear power plant. So St. Charles is an important parish, not just because it's because of the population, but it's the workforce that's in St. Charles Parish that supports these critical infrastructure for the whole nation. And that's why completing these levee projects is important, and why more federal investment, not less, is necessary. We're not just asking for more money from the general fund, which is important, but there are two very special efforts underway to find funding for projects like this. One is capturing 80% of the BP penalty funding, which goes to wetland, basically restoration, some flood protection, etc. And the other is accelerating our revenue sharing. I've been saying to members of Congress, yes, we support additional domestic drilling, both onshore and off, but our delegation should not be, and I'm not, going to be supporting additional coastal drilling without revenue sharing for coastal states, because we need a portion of that money that's being generated to come back here and secure the land that is serving as absolutely the host for the industry. I mean, these plants are part of the oil and gas infrastructure of the nation. That industry generates anywhere from $5 to $10 billion a year just in severance and royalties. That's not counting corporate income, personal income tax, indirect sales tax generated. That's just direct, oil and gas, severance, and etc. And for years, that money has been pouring into the federal treasury, but yet gaps like this exist in St. Charles Parish. It's not fair, and it's been my signature effort, and I've been the lead for now over 15 years in Congress. The good news is we're making progress. We've made a lot of converts, but we've got a few more pieces to deliver in terms of legislation so the money can flow to the state. And ultimately, we're hoping for $500 to $1 billion a year, $500 to $1 billion a year flowing into Louisiana to complete projects like this all over South Louisiana. That's the big picture. But in the meantime, we're focused on this gap right here in St. Charles Parish. Okay?
The aerial tours and the permit announcement garnered much media attention as an important step in the parish's future.
Getting in the air and just seeing how things lay out makes it crystal clear.
Although we never had a direct impact on Gustav Ike or Katrina, we had over $105 million worth of insurance claims. So we're telling the federal government, you want to pay $105 million every 3 years, or you want to give us $150 million so let's build our levees so we can protect our people.
Representatives Bill Cassidy and Rodney Alexander echoed the message loud and clear that the country at large cannot afford to lose this portion of St. Charles Parish. For more information on the St. Charles Parish West Bank Hurricane Protection Levee Project, log on to stcharlesparish-la.gov and click on Residents.